Hello, welcome everyone. So I'm Vincent Zhang. Today I want to talk about the new AssetBundle build system in Unity 5.0. So this is the agenda. So first I want to talk about give a brief introduction about the AssetBundle. And next I will go through the current AssetBundle build system, which means before 5.0, 4.x. Then I will talk about the new AssetBundle build system in 5.0, and last I will introduce some advanced features in the new AssetBundle build system. So about me, so I am a software engineer, and also a member in the core team in Unity. Now I'm working at Unity Shanghai office, so I'm majorly working on asset management and AssetBundle improvement. So AssetBundle introduction. So what is AssetBundle? First, we need to know what an asset is. So everything on the asset folders is an asset. It could be a prefab, textures, and materials, or script, and so on. So what is AssetBundle? Actually, it's just a group of assets in a single file. So the advantages of AssetBundle. So why we encourage people to use AssetBundle? Actually, the basic thing is it can be loaded dynamically, so we can reduce the installation size a lot. And since it can be loaded dynamically, we can use it to update content when running. For example, you can load more resources and load more things whenever you want when you are running a game or projects. Next of all, I just want to go through the current AssetBundle build system in 5 quickly. So how to build AssetBundle? So in 4.x, you have to write a lot of editor script to build AssetBundle. And the first API is build AssetBundle, build pipeline, build AssetBundles. If you call this API, it will include all the input assets in the AssetBundle. And the second one is build stream sync AssetBundle. So if you call this one, it will include the input things in a stream sync AssetBundle. And the third one is build AssetBundle's explicit asset names. So if you use this function, it can set customized names to the assets. And we also provide pop asset dependencies and push asset dependencies, which users can use it to build the dependencies of the AssetBundles. AssetBundle options. Actually, we have 5 AssetBundle build options. The first one is collect dependencies. If you set this one, we will include all the dependent assets in the AssetBundle. And the second one is complete assets. It will include the entire assets in the AssetBundle. The third one is disable write type tree. So with this one set, Unity wants to write type tree to the AssetBundle. So actually, I want to take this chance to talk a little about the write type tree. So what type tree is? Type tree is the data structure that we use to describe the class data layout in Unity. With type tree, even if the class data layout change, we can still read the old data. But before 5.0, I think type tree is always disabled on mobile platforms, so you cannot get this benefit for mobile platforms. But in 5.0, we improved the type tree reading performance a lot, so now we support it on all the platforms by default. Deterministic AssetBundle. So with it said, Unity will generate unique internal IDs for the objects, and it will be constant between builds. So we can use it to build to support the incremental build. Uncompressed AssetBundle. So we just don't compress the data. And here is an example that shows the dependencies among AssetBundles. So we have a cube reference to a material, which reference to a texture. So we want to build the cube to, we just want to build them to 3 AssetBundles with right dependencies. Yeah, let's see what we have to do in 5.0, before 5.0, sorry. First, you have to call build pipeline push asset dependencies and build textures into texture AssetBundle. Then we have to call push asset dependency again and build the material into material AssetBundle. So next we have to do the same thing for cube. At last, we have to call pop asset dependencies 3 times. So with this script, we can generate the dependency in the previous slides. So AssetBundle workflow issues. So actually, there are some issues in the current AssetBundle workflow. So the first one is you have to write complex script, and this is kind of error prone. So you can see, even if we are building the simple dependency like the previous example, you have to write around 15 lines of script. So you can imagine when you are building dependencies, for example, for hundreds of AssetBundles, you have to write a lot of script to do it. And if you meet a problem, it's hard to say if it's the build script issue or it's a Unity's issue. So, and another issue is if one asset changes, you have to build everything on the dependency chain. So imagine you have hundreds of AssetBundles. Every rebuild will take a long time. Sorry. And sometimes it's very hard to generate the same AssetBundle dependencies as asset dependencies. So I think this picture is from the Unity forum, which is a real case that one of customer asked, it's very hard to generate the same exact dependencies, just as this picture shows. So if you think about this case, you want to build the 7 assets into 7 AssetBundles. Actually, there is no way to do this in the current build system. I mean 4.x. So how to resolve this? So first we want to simplify the build script. Then we want incremental build. And we also want Unity to take care of the dependencies. So with all of this in mind, we started to design the new AssetBundle build system in 5.0. So this is what we provide in 5.0. So simple UI, we provide simple UI to mark assets into AssetBundle. And we also provide simple APIs, simple scripting APIs. So we just want customers to call only a few lines of script to build the AssetBundle. And Unity handles the dependencies, means if there are dependencies among assets, Unity will build the dependency into the AssetBundle correctly. And the manifest file, as Unity takes care of building the dependencies, we need somehow to present the dependencies to customers. So this is the purpose of manifest file. And we also want to support incremental build, which means we only want to build the AssetBundles which actually change. If there is no change for the AssetBundle, we just want to skip it. And the last thing is, please don't mix the old and the new build system. Actually, both the systems will coexist for a while, but I also don't know how long that could be. But just don't mix them. Build AssetBundles. So basically, you need 2 steps to build AssetBundles in 5.0. So the first step is just setting the mappings between asset and AssetBundle. Then call simple editor script to build. So this is the same example as I just shown in the previous slides. So I want to use this example to see how simply we can just build the same dependencies in 5.0. So here I have a demo. Sorry. Here I have a demo. Just I want want to show the UI that we use to mark the asset into AssetBundle, and we also want to show how simple the script is. So here we go. Sorry. So why? Sorry, just can't find my mouse. Okay. So here is a cube. So here is cube, and you can see here is the preview, editor preview window. So here, if you click, sorry. So you can just click new and try to type the AssetBundle name, cube.unity3d. Right? Is that correct? Yeah. Okay, thanks. So we just do the same thing for material and click it into, mark it into material.unity3d. And do the same thing for texture. So, and this is the simple way that we just mark the asset into AssetBundle. And I think this is script. We just want to build the AssetBundle. So you can see we just call build pipeline, build AssetBundles with the output path. So it's just very simple. Then we just try to test create from asset database. So start building, and here's the result. Cube.unity3d and the materials. I'm not sure if you can see it clearly. Okay. So let's back to the slides. So it's just, you can see it's just very simple. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Sorry, just wait for a minute. So can I put it right here? So it's just too far. Hello? Yeah. So let's back to the slides. So map asset to AssetBundle. Okay, much better. Actually, there are two ways to map asset into AssetBundle. So the first way is by UI. So I just showed it through the editor preview window. And the second way is by calling asset importer AssetBundle name. So you can call, actually you can call asset importer get at path to get an instance of the asset importer for the given assets. And all these mappings will be kept in the asset database. And the AssetBundle name will also be saved to the asset meta files. So even if you delete a library folder, we can still rebuild the mappings from the meta files during the import. Actually, there are some restrictions when mapping asset to AssetBundle. So you can only map one asset to one AssetBundle. And you cannot mark a script. The reason is scripts will always be built into assembly with player data. So we don't want to build it into AssetBundle. When building streams in AssetBundle, you cannot mix things with other assets. And you can also mark asset into an AssetBundle. So if you mark if you do this, all the assets under it will be included recursively, except the ones which has already been marked into the other asset bundles explicitly. So. And you can use path as the asset bundle name, so, but only relative path is allowed. And we also provide some APIs on asset database to manage the mappings. So the first one is get asset bundle names. It just returns all the asset bundle names in the asset database. And the remove asset bundle name will remove the specified asset bundle name from the asset database. Actually, it also accepts a bool flag to indicate if you want to force delete the asset bundle name, which is actually in use. Remove unused asset bundle names. As the name indicated, it just remove all the unused asset bundle names. Another thing is we actually considering adding a new API that asset database get assets for the asset bundle. As we got some feedbacks from the alpha group, I think we will probably add it. Build AssetBundle. After setting the mappings, you can just call the editor script to build. And I think the first API is the one I just shown in the demo. And for the second one, it provides one more AssetBundle build array parameter. So let's see what it is. So AssetBundle build is just a structure with AssetBundle name and asset names. So if we use the second API, you can just create it from the AssetBundles directly from AssetBundle build array. So it has no relationship with the asset database. And if you call from this, actually there is no impact to the existing mappings in the asset database. AssetBundle build options. In the new AssetBundle build system, the usage of some build options changed. So for the first one, the collect dependencies. Now we always enable it as we want Unity to handle the dependencies. And the second one, deterministic AssetBundle, is also always enabled as we want incremental build. So for the deterministic AssetBundle, so actually I just got one question from our customer that will this impact the performance? So actually, it only impacts the computing at building time a little, but not at runtime. So I think it's okay to use it, as we always enable it in 5.0. Complete assets. I think this one is deprecated, as we always build from assets because you have to mark asset into the asset bundle. So we always build start assets. And rather than the objects, previously we just load the object and pass the object to the APIs. But now we just don't do this. So we don't need that anymore. For disable write type tree and uncompressed asset bundles, these are not changed. So new asset bundle build options. So in 5.0, we also introduced 3 new asset bundle build options. I think I will talk about the force rebuild assets bundle and ignore type tree changes later. For append hash to AssetBundle name, so it will append the AssetBundle hash to the AssetBundle name, so you will get different names when the bundle changes. So it's easier to detect if you want to upload the data again to the CDN. So. We also have a search filter for searching AssetBundles. So you can type column, big column in the search toolbar, and it works with other search filters like type and label. So here we also have a demo. So it will demo search filter and how we build from script completely. Because sometimes people may want automatically build a script, so we also provide an option to this. So here. Here, if you type B, so So textures, and then you type. Here we list all the assets, including sub-assets. So this texture is an asset with 4 sprites as sub-assets. So you can type T and sprites. Sorry, I think I'm sprites. It will just list the sprites. And if you just texture. Sorry. So it will just list the texture. And here we also have filter search the name UI. If you call this, it will just try to list all the assets mapped to this asset bundle. So just a quick pass. And build from script. So actually, we have two scripts for this. So the first one is just totally built from script. We just here we just try to demo how to use as importer to set the asset bundle name. So you can see here we just set the cube asset bundles to cube prefab, and also map the material to material unities really, and also do the same thing for texture. Then we just call build AssetBundle build. So with this script, you can just do the build automatically. And this is one is demo for how to building from the AssetBundle build options. So this is how we set up the mappings. And we just call this one with build infer. So I just also want to show this in demo. So here is to create from AssetBundle build. So you can see here. Sorry, here is the result. Build from build infer. So here's the result, just same as this. So let's go back to the slides. So now I hope you guys will have a basic idea about the new AssetBundle build system. We just want to provide a simple UI and simple script, so maybe just one line of script to do the build. So now we just want to talk about some advanced features. So this is the agenda. So in this part, we will cover the following 5 topics. We'll talk about them one by one. So AssetBundle Incremental Build. So we only want to rebuild the asset bundles which actually change. So actually, there are 2 types of changes in Unity. So the first one is asset file change. For example, you just modified the transform of a prefab, or you just modify the picture, a pixel of the texture. So this will make the asset change. And the second one is type tree change. Actually, there are also two kinds of type tree changes in Unity. The first one is runtime class type tree change, which usually means that you upgrade to a new version of Unity, right? And the second one is just script type change. For example, you can just change the public members of your script to make the script type to change. So when we generate the AssetBundle hash, so we take the asset files, the type trees, and the build target, build options, also some callbacks into account. So actually, for the callbacks, I think for now, we just consider asset post processor and the post scene process by checking the version number. And for now, the version number of the post scene process is just being added. I think it's not included in the beta 1 build. I think we just released the internal beta 1 build maybe last week, and but beta 1 hasn't included that feature. So I hope it will be in the beta 2, internal beta 2 build. And any of these change, this item, 5-item change will make AssetBundle change. So we based on this hash to implement the AssetBundle Incremental Build. So new AssetBundle build options. So here we want to talk about the force rebuild AssetBundle and ignore type 2 changes. So the first one, if you set this flag, the Unity will force rebuild AssetBundles even if there is no change. So you may want to do this when you are just, for example, when you're trying to build everything ready for your publish, right? And ignore type 2 changes. This one will not check the type 2 change in Unity. Actually, it's not compatible with the disabled type tree. So the reason is if you ignore type 2 changes, which means you might use the old type tree to read the new data. So in that case, you must have type tree. Otherwise, you might read the wrong data or crash as the reading code and data layout don't match. And the Unity handle dependencies. So it means Unity will take care of building the AssetBundles, building the asset dependency into AssetBundle dependencies. So with this, you don't need pop asset dependency and push asset dependency anymore. So you don't need to use them. And you may ask, Unity handles the dependencies. How would I know the AssetBundle dependencies at runtime? So we provide manifest file to present the dependencies. So we will talk about it later. I mean, the manifest file, we'll talk about it later. And another benefit is there is no need to rebuild all the AssetBundles on the dependency chain. So here is an example. So you have cube reference to material and the material reference to texture. You build the cube into the cube AssetBundle and build the material and texture into material AssetBundle. So in 4.x, if you change the texture on the material, just make the material reference to a new texture. So you have to build both the cube and the material AssetBundle because cube is on the dependency chain. But in 5.0, you only need to rebuild the material AssetBundle. So just to build the thing that you actually changed. So. And also for these examples, so it's very easy to build some complex dependencies. So what you need to do is simply just mark the 7 assets into 7 asset bundles. Unity will take care of the rest. So you don't need to see how I generate dependencies. No, you don't need to think about that. Unity will take care of this. If there's some problems, I think you can just log a bug to us, because the build script is very easy. If there is a bug, the must be the unit side, right? So I think life is more easy, right? So manifest file. So we have 2 kinds of manifest file. The first one is per AssetBundle manifest file. It contains the CRC, the asset names, the dependency AssetBundle names, also the hash and the class types. So actually, we based on this manifest file to implement the incremental build, because we need to read the hashes, the class types from it to generate the hash. And this kind of manifest file is only used in the editor, not at runtime. So when you are publishing a game, or deploying your game, so you don't have to include them. Just skip it. And another manifest file is a single manifest file which includes all the AssetBundle names and all the AssetBundle dependencies. So how to use it? In order to use it, we create a single manifest AssetBundles for every build. So it only contains an AssetBundle manifest object. These are the APIs we provide by the AssetBundleManifest object. So the first one is get all AssetBundle names. It will return all the AssetBundle names in this build. And the second one is get the direct dependencies. I think it will just return the direct dependency AssetBundle names. So you can, based on this function, to generate some AssetBundle dependency graph. And the third one is get all dependencies, which will return all the dependent AssetBundles. And it can be used to load the dependencies automatically at runtime. Get AssetBundle hash. So it will return hash for the specified AssetBundle. You may ask why we want to return this. So in 5.0, we provide an override for www load from cache or download, which use hash as the version number. So previously, if you want to use the version number, you have to set an integer and bump up every time. But now you can use the hash, which is make more sense to me at least. So with this API, you can get hash at runtime and pass it to this function. Pass it to load from cache or download. And here is an example of how to use manifest AssetBundle. First, you have to load the manifest AssetBundle. Then you just load the AssetBundleManifest object, and then unload the AssetBundle. And you can get all the dependencies for the specified AssetBundle. Here's a demo. So here we want to demo the incremental build and also demoing how to load the AssetBundleManifest object. So here, I think we have already built the AssetBundles, so I just want to try it again. So actually, there is no bundle needs to be built because every bundle's hash has matched. So, and we also want to show how to load the single manifest AssetBundle. So here it is. I just write a simple script to show this. So here, you just load the manifest AssetBundle and get the object from it. Then you can get dependency AssetBundles just by calling this API. And here, you can just use the for loop to load all the dependency AssetBundles. And here you can get the AssetBundle hash and pass it to load from cache or download. And after this, all the dependency AssetBundles are ready. So you can load the cube and try to load the cube from it. I think at this point, the textures and the materials has already been loaded. So we just want to run it. So here we go. So we just output the dependency AssetBundle to the console window. And here is the cube just correctly loaded with material and texture. So thanks. Let's back to the slides. And another thing is AssetBundle Variants. So you can call it a virtual assets. Actually, in 5.0, we based on the new AssetBundle build system to implement virtual assets. So like HD and SD support for 2D games, right? So basically, the idea is we generate same IDs for the AssetBundles with same name but different extensions. We just call different extensions variants, right? And when we are loading it, we just replace the assets based on the name and the extension matching at runtime. So So we will show it with a demo later. And another thing is editor simulation. So we support using AssetBundle without actually building them in the editor play mode. And the basic idea is when loading asset from AssetBundle, we call this API get asset path from AssetBundle and asset names. Call this is kind of too long, right? Yeah. And we call this API to get the assets by the AssetBundle name and asset names. So when we are loading the object in the asset, we just load the object from the asset and use it directly in editor without actually loading it from the AssetBundle. So actually, it works with loading assets and loading things, but it doesn't work with AssetBundle Variants for now, as we have to change the asset reference to support this. You know, actually, in the editor, all the reference has been set up already. So if you want to support variants, which means we have to do some hack when we're trying to transfer the object. So actually, we don't have a good way to do it right now. So I think we will do it later, finally. So we also want to demo editor simulation later. AssetBundle Load Functions. So I think if you guys are using AssetBundles, you must be pretty familiar with the loading functions. In 5.0, we changed the loading functions a little. So we provide all asset names to return all the asset names in this AssetBundle. So you can have an idea about which assets has been included in it. And we also changed load to load assets and load all to load all assets, which the names makes more sense. We also provide load asset with sub-asset to load the whole asset with all the sub-assets. For example, a texture with all its sprites and the font with the material and texture. Actually, before 5.0, there's no way to load the sub-assets. I think the only way to do it is just call load all to load everything. And all these loading functions are provided with async version. So, and another change is we won't return component type anymore by calling the loading function. So as actually internally we always have to load the asset first and then to load the component. So we just think we should public to the customers and don't hide this to the customers. So users have to load the game object first, then call get component to get a component type. So if you are using component type loading from the AssetBundle, you have to upgrade the script by yourself. So the demo. So here I want to demo the AssetBundle Variants and editor simulation. So actually here, I just want to use another demo which we released to Alpha Group to show this. And I hope we can release it to Beta Group soon. So basically, we have an AssetBundle manager. This is just a script in this project, and which takes care of loading the AssetBundles and all its dependencies, also variants. So actually, if you get this demo, you can integrate this. Just feel free to integrate this to your project if you want. So, and this is the script. Where we loading the variants. So first you have to set active variants, so maybe HD, and call this. This is a function implemented in this demo. So you can also call this to load the scene from the scene AssetBundle. So I just want to show this in the. here. Here is this is a variant scene, which reference to a high resolution texture and material. So here we build the myasset.hd folder into myasset.hd asset bundle. And we build the myasset.sd into myasset.sd asset bundle. So this just includes a texture with low resolution and blue material. This is high resolution with red material. So let's try to build it. AssetBundle, build AssetBundle. So okay. So we want to run. So we have to open the variants loader thing to load it. So here you can set the active variants. So now we just set it to HD, and we run it. You can see high resolution is loaded. And if we change it to SD, is that correct? SD, okay. So if you just try to run it again, I hope we can load it with lower resolution. So that's how AssetBundle Variants works. So it just works kind of virtual assets. Thanks. And next, I just want to demo editor script. So here I want to show how the script. Here's the script that we just load the cube from cube AssetBundle and load the test scene from scene AssetBundle. It's pretty easy. And I think now we have the AssetBundle build, so we can try to run it with the AssetBundle build. Just try to open it and to run. That cube has been loaded. This time we just loaded from the AssetBundle. So I think next I would like to delete the result. Right, there is no AssetBundle anymore. Sorry. And here, we just enable simulation mode. So we just try to run it again. So we also have it. Just with the same script. So we just load it from the asset directly without touching any asset bundles. So, hi.
So you said that you wouldn't be able to use asset variants in this mode?
Yeah.
Is there a particular reason why?
Yeah, because so the reason is now we just load it directly from the assets, right? So in Unity, assets has already been set up correctly. For example, for the variants for that scene, you have the game object in the scene has already reference to the high resolution. So if you want to if you want to support variants, we have to break some way and hook it to the low resolution. Which means we might change the assets a little, but this is not allowed to do this. So we might find another way to do this, maybe in 5.1. The basic idea is maybe we can just hook when we are transferring the references at some point, but I'm not pretty sure for now. So actually, I think even we can support variants for editor simulation mode, it's still useful because if you want to test it, if you want to test a project, you don't have to build AssetBundles. We can just make sure that it will save a lot of times, actually. And let's back to the demo. So, sorry. After 5.0, so what do we want to do for AssetBundles after 5.0? So the first, maybe we want to provide a build window just like build settings, where you can set the build targets, the build options, and output paths. So this can make the build process completely visualized. And maybe we also want to list all the mappings there. But I'm not pretty sure, because if you have hundreds of mappings, how could you just use it to manage your mappings just through a window? I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, this is another problem. This is just a problem I just mentioned. So we want to support AssetBundle variants in editor simulation mode. Even it's hard, but we still want it. So thanks for listening. And I think that's all that I want to share with you guys. So I will stay at the hands-on lab for 3 days. Just, I think it's on the general table. So if you guys have any questions, just free to go there and catch me there.